Hi, my name is Muhammed Cengiz. I'm a freshman student at Bilkent University Computer Science Department. In this video, I will present my Physics 101 lab project. My project has two main parts. The first part consists of releasing a solid cylinder from an initial height on an inclined plane and recording its motion simultaneously. After that, with the video we recorded, we can measure the average velocity of the cylinder and compare it with the theoretical values which can be obtained by conservation of energy. And the second part is about calculating P. Putting a mark on the edge of the cylinder, rolling frequency of the cylinder can be calculated, and also with the average velocity and radius of the cylinder, angular velocity can be calculated. At the end, using these values, P can be calculated as well. For this experiment, I used the camera of my phone, an inclined plane, a scientific calculator, a ruler, and a solid cylinder. It is very important to know if it is solid or not, because it affects the moment of inertia and it is used in our calculations. As I said, first of all, I released a solid cylinder from an initial height and recorded its motion at the same time, and repeated this process 5 times with different heights each time. After that, I meticulously analyzed each video in a video editing program. I measured the distances that cylinder covered in increasing time intervals and calculated the linear velocity of the cylinder. Afterwards, I found the angular velocity by simply dividing linear velocity to the radius of the cylinder, and also I calculated the rolling frequency of the cylinder with the help of the mark that I put on the edge of the cylinder. Basically, I calculated the time taken for one complete rotation and then determined the frequency according to that. The experimental data shows that I calculated velocities with an error range of 8.7 to 13, and for angular velocity frequency graph, I draw a mean line that satisfies as much data points as much it can. As a result, that line slope was 5.37, which is equal to 2 times P. Thus, I calculated P as 2.685 with an error rate of 14.53. Although Egyptians calculated P more accurate than me more than 3000 years ago, still it is not a bad result. The biggest drawback of this experiment is that it is really hard to measure values by looking up a video record. It really requires a professional camera, but of course the camera of my phone is not that great. Most probably, the measurements for frequency and distance covered had a big error rate, and that led to bigger error rates in the further calculations. And that was all. Thanks for watching.